1st of the January has to start prelims. It's not that microthemes or the mains are going to die there, but without fail, I want every student to go into the prelims examination with 100% confidence, because it doesn't matter whether you prepare for mains or not. If you do not qualify the prelims, you're out of the game. It is a zero-sum game. So you have to make sure that before moving on to a topic, and this is a revision strategy that I'm telling you, and I'm telling you how do you study it, is this. Alright, this is how you have to do it. You need to have a ruthless prioritization. You cannot go beyond it. So from here, you have to fix. There is like, get away from that decision paralysis. You have to do economy, polity, environment first. You'll think about it, okay, how much do I have to prepare science and technology? We'll open a book. If you go and buy a book from the market, you'll see that it's too much, so many pages. Why do you have to read 400 pages for science and tech when the questions is actually coming on genetic medicine? It's just in front of you. So the micro themes that you get gives you an idea as to which is the most priority themes. So this is the first step to reduce the confusion that you have, is that you have to go through these micro themes to understand what are the priority. Now you have only 12 weeks left. There is nothing you have to do. Everything has to be done before this, because here you have to only integrate Samachar Manthan, value addition, X factors, and write test. So this is the question. X was addressing a seminar on the meaning of the term law as provided under the Article 13, Part 3rd of the Constitution of India. X explained that the meaning of the term law in the Constitution of India was very comprehensive. It included ordinances, orders, and even rules and regulations. Y pointed out that the term law in Article 13 also included custom or usage having in the territory of India the force of law, to which X was not like a complete passage. Somebody who's a beginner will feel that, what am I reading? Where is Article 13? What is the relevance? Why I don't know about it? Do you feel that confusion? Where is Article 13? Right? The thing is that it is there, but it's hidden in a micro theme, right? It's hidden in a micro theme. This question also, it's about scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. How much depth? The question is not that whether do you understand that where it is falling in this. So this is the syllabus. Is there any mention of Article 13 here? Is there any mention of scheduled tribes here? No, but it's part of that. Is there any mention of schedules here? So even if you have that syllabus that you get from the Lakshmikant, how do you exactly know that how much time do you have to give? For that, you have micro themes. So when we say at CD, what is micro themes? This is how we bring out the syllabus to the point like this. This is polity and constitution, and I have just underlined, you can see these red. So you have fundamental rights and duties. Article 13, fundamental rights and duties ke andar aata hai. When you start, you read that state. When you start reading state, Article 12, 13, everything is a part of that, right? You will have to do everything. Notes and revision has to go together, and I'll tell you how to do that, okay? So this question here, you see, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Schedules is a part, and 5th and 6th schedule. Why I've pointed these both is because if you see the option here, provisions regarding to the administration of the tribal areas in the state of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram are given in the 5th schedule of India. And this is relevant because why I'm telling you here, see this. Schedules and parts, 5th and 6th schedule. How many questions? So when you see this 21, 13, and 10th, these are the kind of questions, is the number of questions that have been asked in the past. So the micro themes that you get gives you an idea as to which is the most priority themes. So this is the first step to reduce the confusion that you have, is that you have to go through these micro themes to understand what are the priority and what is my syllabus. How does my exactly syllabus looks like? Because those 4 pages are not going to do it, right? So you need to have that numbers, you need to have this topic list in front of you to be even able to plan your studies or revise or write notes or even to, make one pager. At Civilsdaily, what really happens is that nothing is isolated. So when I give you micro themes, I would also tell you, the mentor will also tell you that these micro themes are more important. Like I'm giving you an idea, right? So if you're talking to your mentor, I will tell you that, the schedules and parts, this is the kind of a question that you're going to get for prelims. So prepare your 1-pager notes or your content accordingly. Plus also, if you get mains, if you're preparing notes for mains, this is the kind of analytical questions that you're going to get. All right. So far, I think you clear as to what is micro themes for the beginners specifically, or somebody who is like, attending the webinar or seeing these videos for the first time. Do you understand what is a micro theme? Micro theme is the most relevant and important part of your preparation when it comes to the syllabus and deciphering that what I need to focus on. This is mains GS2 paper, okay? Mains GS2 paper, functions and responsibilities of the union and states, issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure, devolution of powers and finances up to the local levels and challenges therein. Now tell me, what is the micro theme here? So tell me, what is the micro theme here? Can you tell me, what do you find? See, Function responsibility of the union and the states, finance commission. Okay, finance commission. Why? Federalism, right? Federalism, perfect. Union and states, again, union and states is not a micro theme here, because union states is like a very, like, there is no isolated questions. DPSP, not exactly. Could be connected, but not exactly. DPSP itself is in like a micro theme. Separation of powers is a separate micro theme. Decentralization, yes, decentralization. All right, listen to me. The micro themes are local government, exactly. Local self-government, fundamental rights could be a part of it, but not exactly, because for that you have separate. That is a separate. Separation of powers is a separate theme. Comparison of Indian Constitution with others is a separate theme. Fundamental rights and duties become a separate theme. Why? Federalism is a theme. But again, like I'm saying, that federalism has 10 questions. Are they going to ask you the same kind of questions? So let's say polity, and we're just talking about polity. So if you have mains themes that are 30 in number, and you have prelims theme that is around 34 in numbers, and the questions for the prelims is 226, and the mains question since 2013 is 125. Can I say that if I tell you that you have to finish polity and governance dimension wise, and in a way that everything, yes, scheduled areas could be a part of it, but still like scheduled areas, yeah, separately, you might not get a question like that. Rights issues may, yes. Fundamental rights and duties become a different. So, for example, pressure groups also become a different micro theme. Why? Because if what becomes a micro theme, if from a particular topic you get more than 2 questions in mains or 3 to 4 questions in prelims, that becomes a micro theme because of the repetition. Okay, is this clear? So what would you do first if I ask you to, okay, start making 1 page a note and start doing your, preparation and revision? You would go for federalism. Finance commission, yes. Why? Because the issue here is, but that would also become a part of non-constitutional and statutory body. You understand that? So you have to think about finance commission itself is not a micro theme. It is a dimension. So you have to understand what is a micro theme, because finance commission is not exactly probably a micro theme when it comes to polity. You have to identify the dimensions asked, and then Panchayati Raj institution is a part of local self-government. Local self-government also has urban local bodies, right? Executive versus legislature, that is separation of powers. See, conceptual, you're going wrong. You're going wrong. You're going wrong here. Now let's say local self-government. So you have local self-government. Here you can see the micro themes. So you see the micro themes here clearly. Local self-government, these are the questions that have been asked in the past year. And on the right hand side, you will see these is the dimensions, the major dimensions. When I say how much depth you have to go, so dimensions are significance. First of all, why do you need local self-government? What are the functions? What are the limitations and challenges? What are the steps that have to be taken to strengthen local self-government? All right. What needs? So a lot of times you will see, if you're reading newspaper, you will also see that finances is a big issue, right? So you also have to mention that also become a dimension. With passing time, the dimension probably either will reduce or increase. But what you understand, that local self-government itself is a very important micro theme. And when it's a very important micro theme, I have to delve into the dimensions, and those dimensions will be the headings of your answers, your notes, your content material has to be there. The problem with Lakshmikant is that you will not find these dimensions like this in Lakshmikant. So Lakshmikant, when you read, it becomes very easy to understand, probably with terms of when we say prelims, right? But when you talk about what? When you talk about mains, where the questions are really difficult. For example, see this question for local self-government. So you will have Panchayati Raj institutions separately in Lakshmikant. You will have urban local municipalities differently. But then you have to, there is a lot of work in actually trying to get the dimension analysis, which is actually part of the mains. The question here is, the states in India seem reluctant to empower urban local bodies both financially and functionally and financially, right? So for that, what you have to do is that I will say this is something that if you try to catch up from the Lakshmikant, it will become a big problem for you. Why? Because you have to really go into it, and first you have to understand the dimension. You can use X Factors because we all give that out to students for free. You can download X Factors, which has these dimensions covered. Now let's go to the next part. I will just give you to strengthen my understanding that why microtheming, the dimension analysis is so important and you have to learn that. See, as a part of the ultimate assessment program, we mentors actually generally help out with students. We teach them how to do that. It becomes easier, but I am giving you a general idea how you have to do it, right? X Factors, if you've read X Factors, you already know that it's curated in such a format. I'll show you what is the X Factor Connect here if somebody has not seen it. This is science and technology. And trust me, I was not thinking of adding science and technology, but this wording always gets me. So look at this question. Look at the syllabus wording: science and technology developments and their applications and effects where in everyday life. Everyday life, right? Let's see the everyday life that they have. See in the 2026 prelims paper. The question of the 2026 prelims paper for science and technology, and I love this question particularly. I like, which of the following statements, is it visible to everybody? The question is visible. Which of the following statements with regards to the India's deep ocean mission are correct? It's a very well talked question also. Okay, it was launched by the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Government of India. All right. Matsya 6000 has been designed to carry 3 people for deep sea exploration, and Samudrayan is a project under this mission. Then you have to choose the options, right? And then there is this question about genetic medicines, engineered viruses, and genetic medicines alter the entire DNA sequences. Probably 41st question, I could say that okay, it affects everyday life, but everyday life, I mean, the usual Tom, Dick, and Harry would not read about Matsya 6000, right? So how do you dig out the dimension? That becomes a problem. So here also, this is a question for the mains 2025. Mention India's contribution to the International Fusion Energy Project. I've taken this question because this is not about renewable energy only. This is not about particularly nuclear energy. It's a very specific question. So you have to understand this is why PYQs are very important and microthemes become very important, because you understand that, in what kind of subject and what kind of topic they're asking very specific question, where you can read Samachar Manthan, where do you have to dig into the current affairs, right? What will be the implications in the global energy? Right? This is the question. Now let's see the mains theme and prelims theme. So for science and tech, let's say, and I'm sharing science and tech because I feel it's increasing in its like a lot of subjects. For example, you only had polity, you had 9 questions, but before that you had 20 questions. So it's not that polity is not important, but science and tech is actually taking a lot of space with respect to prelims at least, and also mains. So mains micro themes are I'll tell how to use X Factors. So let's say mains micro themes are there 80. Mains questions are 42, prelims micro themes are 21. Only 21 themes you have to prepare. It's not, you'll think about it, okay, how much do I have to prepare science and technology? We'll open a book. If you go and buy a book from the market, you'll see that it's too much, so many pages. Why do you have to read 400 pages for science and tech when the questions is actually coming on genetic medicine? It's just in front of you. So if you're not being able to find that out, you're not being able to understand that I have to do 21 themes only. First, I have to be so good at it that only after once I do this, once I gain the 80% accuracy, then only I can move. Right? Tell me, do you expect to finish a book, science and tech, like 300 pages? How many pages are there for a science and tech book that you get in the market? Like, share in the chat. I also want to know what is the number right now. So prelims questions since 2009 is 119, it has increased. See, genetics and biotechnology, all right. If you have enrolled for Smash Mains 2027, so still this plan is actually for both prelims and mains. So how can you actually integrate your prelims preparation along with mains? Probably in that microtheme completion, it will help you. For genetics biotechnology, you have 26 questions, 26 themes. Renewable energy technology, 14. Why I have marked this? Tell me. Because we saw the questions here, right? We saw these questions that were there. So you understand these biotech, again, genetics biotechnology. I have added this here to show you that prelims and mainstream themes are overlapping. So when you're actually, making paper, like writing one pages also, you should be able to focus on this part. That, okay, this is somewhere I have to go. Okay. So I think it's very clear that the micro theme will actually do 4 things, right? First of all, you have you'll trace the topic there, which paper, which line, which syllabus it is a part of it. What is the relevance? How much I have to study a particular topic? What is that particular topic that I have not been able to understand? And how much deep do I have to go there to find the dimensions and make one-pager notes? And when do you touch it? When do you start reading that particular topic? Like if something is like, for example, IA topic, probably even if it's polity, right? If you say that I will do Lakshmikant right now, but you do not read it again, like before December again, you're not writing test, trust me, it's not going to help you because you will not recall anything. And trust me, if you've read Lakshmikant, you know what I'm saying. All of us know spectrum once reading is not going to help you. So how many times do you have to revise particular thing is also important. Now let's say, are you clear that you have to do micro themes? All right. I think I have sure, I'll show you the take a screenshot. Whenever you're reading something, take a screenshot of this. So micro theme, what it is going to answer? Where do you trace the topic? How do you trace the topic? You have to trace the topic. What is the relevance? You'll see the number of questions that have been asked and how deep to go. So this is the themes. You can take a screenshot of this. Although this is also, this you'll get from the document in the PDF also. Okay. You can get that there. So I think this is clear. So let's move on to next topic. And next part of our conversation is just going to, yes, definitely. Yeah. So we have actually done that. We have created flash notes that actually kind of reduces that 50 pages of fundamental rights into 4 pages because that's what you need. So now I think you have a clarity. The previous conversation was about clarity. And if you have any questions, keep it for the later. We'll have a Q&A session as well. But this is what we have to understand. So this is a simple math. You have 17 subjects for mains and you have at least 288 microthemes in total. Prelims microthemes are around 183 and I'm talking about including the 2026 paper. There are 1900, so from where we have cut up these microthemes from like 1900 plus questions are there. All right. And now how many weeks do you have? You have exactly 39 weeks. 39 weeks for prelims. Okay. And from prelims to mains, you are only have 12 weeks. That is why there the integrated study for prelims and mains is non-negotiable. For all the beginners, I'm telling you, integrated study is non-negotiable. So this is the 180 micro themes. Here you will see it. Polity and Constitution, 226 questions. That is one of the biggest. Economy, 273. Science and Tech, 231 questions. Environment Ecology, 314. Geography, 204. And then after, history and freedom struggle. Okay. I think ये सबसे बड़े आपके major subjects हैं that you have to focus. Polity, Constitution, Economy, Science and Tech, Environment and Ecology, Geography. After that, once you've done this big 4, then you will get it. You will get it, get these PDFs and everything, these micro themes from the link. Okay. So 288 means micro themes, 183 prelims, and 183 prelims that are matching. Okay. There is an overlap. Don't worry about the fact that there is no overlap. You will find that overlap. Okay. So when you open this is a student portal that I'm showing you, and how do you actually kind of dig out the micro themes and how do you understand this? So this is our student portal where you get these micro theme platform. This is the micro theme platform. So let's say prelims polity trend. This is a complete trend that's here given. And these are from here you can see that what is in this graph, you'll see that how many themes and what they're important. Once you click on a particular theme, for example, you've clicked on a particular theme, this will happen. The questions will come. So ideation of closing the micro theme loop is that you have understood the micro theme. You started studying that particular topic. You'll come back to micro theme document. You will click on that particular topic and you will check whether you've reached the 80% accuracy with respect to the PYQs. If you've not reached 80% accuracy, then your topic is not covered in the sense of your recall value, factual recall, and also content-wise. So you have to make sure that before moving on to a topic, and this is a revision strategy that I'm telling you, and I'm telling you how do you study it, is this. All right, this is how you have to do it. You need to have a ruthless prioritization. You cannot go beyond it. So from here, you have to fix. There is no get away from that decision paralysis. You have to do economy, polity, environment first. Geography first. Take it up. Okay. Modern history, fine, you have to do it because it's also important for the mains micro theme, but these are the themes that you cannot miss right now. Trend has already changed. A lot of subjects are, becoming kind of fading away. So you have to first prioritize these themes. Now, I already showed you that, why this matters. First of all, it helps you understanding that which subjects that you have to do first, but also how much depth do you need to go. I think this is the problem I think a lot of you will have. How many of you have this problem that, if I pick up a particular micro theme, I do not even know what kind of notes do I have to make for that? Do you face this problem? Right. How much? Yes, perfect. I know that this is like one of the, I think this is something that is like a universal issue. Where do you even where do you even stop? So this is something how you understand. So as a part of UAP, what we do that we do tell students how much, where do you stop? But let's say you kind of like if somebody has a mentor, probably if somebody is a part of UAP or Civilsdaily, they start understanding it. Probably takes a week or so to teach this, and then they're sorted. We never have to tell our students again because that is what their thinking style becomes. That you start looking at topics like that. So I told you federalism was really important, right? So now let's say uh, this is a topic, right? Federalism is a theme. I told you 10 questions. Here you will see these are the questions. These are all the questions. What becomes problems? So, are you supposed to read on 101st Constitutional Amendment Act? To what extent it reflects the accommodative spirit of federalism? The thing is that probably you do not have to make complete one pager on it, but when you make a one pager note, probably mention this. PYQs always become your dimensions. From that, you have to dive. For example, see this first question: examine the evolving pattern of center state financial relations in the context of planned development in India. How far have the recent reforms impacted the fiscal federalism, right? So, this is about finance, fiscal federalism. It also gives you an understanding that they have asked about fiscal federalism. The types of federalism is important. So, probably I should also look up what asymmetrical federalism. I should also have cooperative federalism. On that note, they have asked a question on cooperative federalism. Federalism is a basic feature of Indian Constitution, and the Supreme Court, the apex judiciary, has also given a lot of interpretation related to the federalism. So here, the first thing that you have to understand, this is an important micro theme. Then I have to have more dimensions for this, and also I have to see that what could be the next year dimension or question that they could ask, because the micro theme is not going to change, but probably you would see that a lot of this, I think I will address those questions in the end. Please feel free to ask that question right now. Let's talk about what we're doing. So how much time one micro theme deserves? अब यहाँ से planning की बात करते हैं, ठीक है? I've told you these many micro themes are there. Are we clear about the micro theme numbers? Now let's make a plan. Entire year plan, I'll tell you. Start writing it down, okay? Or either just take the screenshot, but I'm telling you, I've divided into 4 phases. All right. So let's say, and this is applicable to all the beginners also. It is applicable to beginners, it is applicable to anybody, whether you're the first timer, whether you've given an attempt. It doesn't matter. If you're ready to give this exam, if you're ready to give 6 to 7 hours every single day, it's doable. It's doable. We have had students, and that is why we have a plan that is made on that. You can actually download the entire plan from the link. Okay, we are providing that entire plan also. You can download that and like blindly you can follow it. Blindly. You will finish all the micro themes before December. So let's say we're in August, right? So what you have to do is that from the August till October, the phase is divided like from the August, September, October, then you have December. From December till end of December, from January you have like complete dominate prelims. Okay, January first day, first of the January has to start prelims. It's not that micro themes of the mains are going to die there, but without fail, I want every student to go into the prelims examination with 100% confidence, because it doesn't matter whether you prepare for mains or not. If you do not qualify the prelims, you're out of the game. It is a zero sum game. Okay, it's a complete zero sum game. So do not even think about slacking on prelims. Okay, from May till August, from the end of May or till August, you have only 12 weeks. I've already mentioned that. Let's see how this goes. Let's explain this. So far, I think things are clear to you. So month-wise micro-themes. So what we're doing, we're dividing it into such that these are the micro-themes. These are the number of micro-themes. I've given you this understanding that you start with these subjects, but these are the number of micro-themes. I am taking away the decision paralysis from you, and you will get the, this timetable that I'm sharing here from the link that we'll be sharing in the chat only. What is the principle? Very simple principle is that first we start with the themes that are very important, but you're familiar with. That gives you confidence when it comes to giving the prelims test also, plus also writing answers, because writing answers and giving tests is like non-negotiable. Whether you do PYQs, whether you attend mentorship tests, that is like that is up to you. For example, for UAP, if you are a part of UAP, what we do is that we have this particular set, that whatever subject that you're doing, we combine the prelims and mains test along with that. Plus, then you have post-test discussions with the mentor. That is very mandatory. But you have both going together because there's entire overlap there. So you will have easy, moderate, and difficult. Okay. So let's see P1. This is the foundation phase. Mains micro theme, you have six. Six per week, you have to do it. And prelims micro themes, you have to do four per week. Answer thinking, five per week. What is the answer thinking? PYQs. And you will have mentorship test. Here we'll go a bit slow. Once you've completed a subject, you will take a mentorship test. That is after every subject. All right. This phase is till August to October. These are 13 weeks around. You will have like maybe lesser than 13 weeks actually. But this is a whole idea. Okay. So how many means micro themes? Six per week, then prelims, four per week, answer thinking, at least minimum. And this is you can definitely change. I would say increase it if you can. But what are the subjects? Subjects are polity. Okay. These are the subjects. I'll show you the micro themes also. You can take a screenshot of this. So 6 per week, 4 per week, and 5 per week for answers. This is, and put this up. Put this up on your boards. Okay. So far, any doubts? So for example, this is prelims and mains. All right. So let's see here. So on the top, you'll see prelims microthemes, and in the bottom, you will see mains microthemes. So geomorphology for prelims and mains, both are important. Okay, it's a same microtheme. Climatology, same microtheme. What you have to do is just take up X factors probably. And once you're done with the prelims with your standard sources, for example, NCRT, go through the PYQs, and from the X factors, just read that part for the mains. Analytical portion anyway is automatically done. You don't have to read anything. Like literally, I can guarantee you that, you don't need anything apart from that. No analytical questions is going to come apart from that. At least for many, for mains, we have created this level of predictability. Just download the X factors. Okay. You have any kind of issues discussing it, like understanding X factors, you can always reach out to us. Climate type for universe, solar system, and Earth. Okay. For this prelims theme is kind of a different, but the expectation for the mains will be different. But what you have to do, at least these very important prelims micro themes and mains micro themes that are combining with each other, you have to do. You have to. So these are the major subjects that you will be doing from August till October. You will do agriculture. Why? Agriculture is part of economic geography, and agriculture is part of geography as well, right? Yes, you can do X factors after the NCRTs, or you can do it together. That is completely up to you. Okay, but you have to do X factors. I feel that it just makes I'm saying that you have to. You can actually follow other things as well, but I feel that it just makes your life really easy. Why to complicate yourself with reading again an academic book from which you have to derive the answering framework on yourself? So just reduce that effort, right? Okay, so I think this is clear. I'll tell you what is the X factor. So these are the micro themes that you have to do: modern history, economy, polity, environment, and agriculture. These are the things that you have to do till October. What kind of micro themes you can do? So do easy first. For example, pick up, like for the mains exam, for mains themes, probably pick up urbanization, pick up world geography basics, fundamental rights, parliament basics, do federalism. That are like recurrent themes, but not very difficult, which have like straightforward questions. However, one thing that you have to do, you have to do ethics. Yes, you can use X factors blindly for your means preparation. You can use it. Everything is included. The current affairs is included. Everything. I'll show you the X factors and you will know. I'll show you that. So ethics also you have to do. Okay. You have to start your ethics, probably take 2-3 days, but you have to do ethics, because start doing and use technology to understand ethics. So start with terms. Okay. For example, what terms I'm talking about: values, attitude, integrity, compassion, and all that. And what you can do is, I feel here what you have to do here, focus more when you're talking about ethics, is try focus more on understanding the concept and building good content system, right? So try to understand the dimensions, and what you do, you actually make good notes. You have to make good notes from that. Okay. So here, this is a micro theme that you will get. And we're sharing the link in the chat. From there, you can download the micro theme document as well, and you can get the X Factor also. Okay. So for prelims, we have something that I'll show you. So this is phase one complete. Do we understand what kind of micro themes and what subjects do we have to use? Now, if you're actually falling back on, like, let's say 10 micro themes, okay, you've not been able to finish your 10 micro themes for the economy by the time your phase two is starting. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just start. Okay. Itna pile up hoga. It is an aggressive month. November to December is going to be the most aggressive month. But I want you to be more aggressive right now. Because the thing is that prelims from the January, what will happen anyway, it's going to be really aggressive. So right now, push yourself more to prepare. P2 is basically about building and expanding. So let's say you've done the major subjects, because by then, by this November to December, you would have closed environment and science and tech. All right. Ancient, medieval, and art and culture you will do together. Why I'm asking you to do it in probably November and December is because medieval and art and culture is something that will need your like more, revisions in like closer parts. Because if you do it on ancient art and culture right now, you would not remember it, because there is a lot of factual recall that is required of you when you're doing it. So hence, I think that you will be able to do it well, like, that then you will get that. Yes, you can join that. Okay. So internal security, ethics, whatever is left of the mains theme, यहाँ पे वो focus करेंगे, because we've done the major prelims portion there, and anyway we are starting the prelims portion from the January. So what will happen is that what we'll do, what we'll leave all that miscellaneous portion for prelims for later. Major subjects we'll do, and here in this end of November to December, we have to do what? IR every year you have 3 to 4 questions. It's kind of fixed, like you don't have to worry about it. Okay. For society is a very high yielding micro theme, trust me. And when you're doing society in this month, November to December, what you have to do, and please keep that in mind and ingrain it, you'll also start reading about the indexes and everything when you're making those notes. So what will happen, it actually add up to your prelims as well, because you will be reading about schemes, you'll be reading about poverty, so indexes will come into fore. You will start reading about, like, those things that are factual and also asked in the prelims. So because you'll do the micro theme analysis and PYQ dimension analysis, you will find that it becomes pretty easy to you. All right. Is this clear? So how many subjects are we doing here? We're finishing all the mains micro themes. We have to push, we have to do IR, and we have to do ethics case studies. So the idea to ethics is that what you do, the basic conceptual and term wise. No, I'm not even talking about application. I'm talking about terms and basic thinkers and, influencer, the people who have influence and all that, philosophers, you'll do that in the what time? August till October. Take it slow, do it that lag, because it's very important that you understand it very clearly. Now what will happen in November to December, start trying to think of case studies and just agree and just collecting examples. I think it's very important that you collect good number of examples here. If you don't do that, what will happen, and I'll tell you very honestly, what will happen is that if you don't collect examples, you will find writing generic examples. And I feel that, okay, Mr. Tukaram Munde is like in a lot of news right now, but everybody will be writing that. All right. I think you need to have unique examples. But when you look around yourself, you'll find a lot of good, relevant examples for yourself as well. So that is why I think if you do ethics in the initial level and, you find out the good dimensions, you start looking at things and whatever is happening in the current affairs from that ethical lens as well. And that's very, very good. See, you don't have to finish all the subjects by November, but at least mains themes, you should try to be able to finish them by December at least, or first week of, or like, the 2 weeks, the beginning 2 weeks of January, although you will start preparing for the prelims from January. But if your mains themes are kind of left, so then you will have a kind of a problem. Okay. Now, what kind of micro themes here you're doing? So we have reached this P2, these P1 and P2. So P1 is easier phase, P2 and P4 will be very aggressive. So these, I want you to have P1 is also like a very aggressive phase, but still I am giving you that leeway. Okay, fine, you'll start doing easy subjects. You'll also find doing probably history easy because it's like storytelling. But P2 and P4 are going to be very aggressive because you will find a lot of new topics there. What are the kind of micro themes? See, for example, let's say pressure groups, agricultural reforms, environmental treaties, the applied ethics. Here you have to do those. Okay. Art and culture, like I'm showing you, art and culture, November and December, do that along with the ancient and medieval. If you've already done it, then make sure that you at least revise it at that point of time. Because for these subjects where more factual recall is required, you will gain more. Okay. So sources and literature, Buddhism and philosophy, architecture and temple, music, everything. And again, you will be doing it in January again and again. These are the kind of subjects will need more revision. But for IR, what I'm saying is that there are lesser themes. There are 53 questions, but it's a steady theme. So here what you will focus in November, December is try to just at least read and make notes. So for organized crime and terrorism, all right. For area management, digital media and security threats, all right. For Naxalism, just at least make one pager notes by this time. So what you'll do, you've read once and you've made one pager notes. If you finish this, of course, do foundational test. We have mentorship test and a sectional test under UAP. Just go for it and write a test. Okay, from that test and that post-test discussion only you will gain so much that sometimes I think probably even if I'll ask you to write a test on IR for internal security, you will be able to write a decent answer because the brainstorming that the mentor will do with you regarding your answer copy and styles will stay with you. Okay. Yes, I see. This is so what happens like, yes, so we are actually going. So this is like a P2, P1, P2, and P3. So far what we're taking prelims and mains together. So before what we're doing, P1, we were having themes like this. Okay. What were the number of themes? Mains micro themes were more. All right. 6 per week. Prelims micro themes were 4 per week. Answer thinking, 8, probably, I would say 5. All right. Okay. Yes, it is enough. X factors are more than enough. And mentorship test after every subject. Mentorship test is for prelims and mains both. Prelims and mains both. Answer writing has to start from day one. Right, bad, ugly answers doesn't matter. Your mentor will teach you how to write an answer. Don't worry about it. Okay. We'll teach you. Mains micro themes for the P2 phase, 7 per week. Prelims will increase here a bit. All right. I'll discuss the sources. Prelims micro themes are 8 per week. Answer writing 8 per week. All right. And subject test. Here, what will happen? P2, as I've said, definitely you will have a lot more intense, but here you have to focus on try to give more tests. Start getting into the idea of getting more tests because we believe in fault finding, course correction, and having a system. If you're actually doing it in such a manner, no, you will be able to cover it up well. So this is your P2. These are the themes. You will do governance and Indian society in November, December weeks. It can extend till January also. But now this is a 20 weeks plan for prelims. Okay. This is P3. This is January to 23 May. 1st January, you will pick up prelims. You will do prelims micro themes 9 per week. Mains, overlap themes you will revise 2 per week. But how? Only the dimensions that you have missed or just to add examples or value addition from the X factors. Okay. MCQs daily. Because if you're part of UAP, so you will have to anyway solve 100 MCQs, 75 MCQs as a part of Dominate Prelims every day, plus PYQs, plus the prelims tests that are apart from that, FLTs and everything is a completely different thing. From March, the biggest non-negotiation is full length test. FLTs you have to solve. You have to be very comfortable with scoring less marks in the beginning. Doesn't matter. Okay, it does not matter. How many answers per day would depend upon how much you're preparing, right? Really. So if you, I will answer these questions because they are like kind of a specific questions. I will, all right, previous slide. So let's say this is the previous slide that you want. So Indian society. So you have to do Indian society. You have to do governance. You have to do art and culture, and you have to do internal security. You must have noticed that I've not mentioned IR here. Why? Because I want you to do IR in January. IR for prelims is really kind of, in a way, it's created in a way that needs a lot of factual recall and it's complete rote learning. Sometimes you have to do it. All right. For optional, one slot has to be for optional again. So this is, I'm not giving you a time slot, but when you download the timetable from the starter kit that we're sharing, so I feel that you will find the time there. We've given it. So time for optional, it has to be at least 2 hours daily at this point of time. Try to make sure that by December, because see, if I tell you these many hours you have to study every day, you would not be able to do it. I don't want to put you in pressure that, you know what, like 2 hours or 3 hours. Sometimes you'll do 2 hours, sometimes a particular theme will finish in 3 hours. But what you have to do, you have to pick up the topics. Also for optional, also try to find out micro themes for those. There will be micro themes and wahan pe bhi apply the same technique. But make sure by the end of the December, both papers are done and you have notes and you have written at least you've solved PYQs. Give 2 hours, roughly 2 hours. Some days probably will take 3 hours. Some days you will not be able to do it, which is fine. But try and do it. Okay. The starter kit link we're sharing in the chat. So P3, prelims micro themes, 9 per week. 20 weeks ka time hai from when? From January till 23rd May. 20 weeks. If you do 9 per week, you will have proper revision. Otherwise, you will not be able to do, because you have to at least revise twice and thrice. To do that, at least you have to do this. And this is all revision. Okay. Now P4. Now you have only 12 weeks left. There is nothing you have to do. Nothing new can come here. Nothing new. Everything has to be done before this. Because here you have to only integrate Samachar Manthan, value addition, X factors, and write test. Full length test you have to write 2 per week. Answer writing you have to do daily. And essay you will have to write at least minimum 5 essays. So what we do, I'm here because if you're not part of UAP, to push you through that is not something that I would want to do. But in UAP, what we do is that when we're reaching October, September, October, what happens is that, because we ask you to do ethics as well. And some of the understanding of answer writing also develops because you're writing test. So what we do at that point of time, that we want you to start writing essays. So essays taken by Rohit sir, and there are a lot of multiple videos, and we have micro themes and X factors for that. So what do we want you to do, that PYQs, the questions of the essay, you start writing your own structures. Watch those videos, start writing those structures. How do we divide that? We generally divide for the Sundays. Fix your Sundays probably, or Saturdays. It depends upon student to student. But if I have to just generalize it for somebody, I would probably go for that. So 5 essays we make students write before January, and 5 after the prelims is over. So you have like at least minimum 10 essays done, apart from the PYQ thinking and answer writing that we do in the daily answer writing program as a part of UAP. So let's say 31st December 2026, Happy New Year. Every GS mains theme is covered. 141 mains themes are covered here. Matlab that is overlapping at least. You would have written at least 130 answers. You have to. And for prelims, you have 124 prelims micro theme closed. Why only 123 prelims micro theme closed? This is the minimum I'm saying. Is that you will have miscellaneous topics also. For example, sports. For example, Nobel Prize and international prizes, indexes, they do not form part of a particular theme. They're just relevant for prelims. Those you will be doing in January, plus IR and mapping. So that all part you have to do when? January. Okay. So this is why that is there. Is this clear so far? Now, how do you basically your week should look like if you're doing for the, and I'm just showing this for the particular reason that if you're doing the micro theme based study for the first time, okay, and you're a beginner and you will find it a bit difficult. So what you have to do is that you pick up probably a micro theme here. Let's say if you've taken up river system. If you've taken up river system, the first thing that you will do with that is that you will check how much PYQs you can solve. Probably second day, what you'll do, you will analyze the dimensions. The third day, what you'll do, you'll read the flash notes as a part of the UAP. Flash notes are the short notes along with your NCRTs for that particular micro theme. And then you will make one-pager notes. And in the end, what you're going to do, you're going to solve a test. That is, you will solve PYQs again, and you'll do a test. So what happens here? Why this test is important? Because until unless you do not do the test, you would not understand whether your one pager is working, whether you actually understood the concept. And third is that what is your factual recall and how much revision would you need for that particular topic? Okay, is this clear? So when you download the timetable or your mentor will make a timetable, they will accommodate the microtheme revision just like that. This is a kind of a, I'm just showing you a screenshot of how we plan how a timetable for a particular student looks like. Is this clear to everybody? This is the sheet. So this is the timetable that we're providing to the students for free. You can download it from the link that the Civilsdaily team is sharing in the chat. Later on, it's going to be there. Plus, this video will always, you can also go to the website and you can go to the website and you can honestly, you can download the timetable. Please team share the links here, but also go to the website. Okay, this is the timetable. It does not only have it does not only have a micro themes, it has multiple topics and it also has sources and it exactly when you should be and how you should be giving test. Although the test structure is based on the test we provide as a part of the UAP, so you won't get that for free because that is a part of the UAP, but you will get that. Okay. And so planning thing is come, and now let's come to the most important part of that for the recent conversation, right? So NCRTs are there, right? So first NCRTs, and don't go for all the NCRTs, go for the 11th, 12th only. Standard books, like for example, Lakshmikant Spectrum or there is no good economy book, but any decent economy book you can go for. Ancient art and culture and everything can be done with the old NCRTs or Tamil Nadu standard books. Additional resources are Samachar Manthan notes, burning issues, all right? Internet research, current affairs from Samachar Manthan, and then X Factors notes and enrichment. You have flash notes and then revision. All right. If you're a beginner, this is something that I love about what we're providing for free. Okay, so what we've done is that we've created these NCRTs. And if you're a beginner, even if you've just given an attempt and you've not marked your NCRTs like this, and obviously you'd be probably not remembering a lot. And if you've not made notes also, I would say that download these annotated NCRTs. What we've done is that we've created and annotated it in such a manner that whatever is important can come and or has been asked in the prelims examination, and where is the analysis part for that exam, for that where the mains theme can also come, is also marked in these NCRTs, and for those NCRTs that are the most important. So these are the flash notes. So somebody said that what are the flash notes? So for example, this is a fundamental rights chapter from the Lakshmikant. What we have done, and not only to that extent, flash notes, it's actually available in the website and from the link that we're sharing. So these are the flash notes. So these are the flash notes that we provide as part of our UAP program. These are not for free, but this is how your one pager, this also reflects a one pager. So for example, let's say you can see this here. Whatever question has been asked is also marked here. Buddhist literature, I already told you as a micro theme how important Buddhist literature is, right? Vedic literature and related texts. You can see here that the question has been directly asked. It's not that they're not going to ask the same question. It could be an option. It could be again asked. All right, they have repeated questions. Right to privacy was asked in the prelims twice within the matter of 2-3 years. So there is like, when it comes to UPSC prelims examination, there is like no understanding like what they're going to ask. So you have to prepare the micro themes like this. They were very obsessed with Kalidas, so they asked a lot of works of Kalidas also. They always keep on asking. So this is something that you have to rote learn. But how much do you rote learn? So for that, first of all, prelims PYQs help you. Plus, we understand that from all the resources that are NCRTs, that are the standard books, that are the government resources, and then we curate these flash notes. These you get as a part of all the subjects you get, for all the subjects you get for as a part of the UAP. And I always would expect you to make notes like this if you make, when to prepare. You should be preparing for flash notes or reading for flash notes from the beginning itself, because you will be writing test for prelims and mains both. So you should be reading flash notes from the beginning itself. It also, and sometimes it reduces the effort of making prelims notes. What we do is that we kind of, for mains one page, I want you to make one pager notes, but sometimes what happens for prelims, sometimes you do not need all those one pager notes, all right? But if you want to make one pager notes, your one pager note should look like this for all. Okay. So this is notes. Up, we've come to the sources, and these are the flash notes. This is how we have created it. Now, one pager. I'm just going to take very few minutes for that. And why you need to have, this is a non-negotiable, because what will happen is this: you don't prepare your own notes, and let's say you've studied ancient art and culture, you've analyzed the Cholas empire architecture and something like that, but you've not made notes. You will go write that FLT, and they will ask you, and they'll ask you to compare the Pallavas and Cholas, and you would not be able to do it because you have just read it from the textbook. You don't have any notes, you've never analyzed it like that. So once you do that, if you don't have those one pager notes, because once your brain stops functioning, there will be a point during the mains examination, especially for those 12 weeks that you prepare for the mains examination. If you do not have one pager notes, you will not be able to write good answers. Everything will be very generic, because one pager notes do have some kind of a requirement for you to write. What is the It is a completely micro themed. X factors are completely micro themed. Okay, this is the one pager note. For here, this is a parliament chapter, and on the right hand side, this is the kind of one pager that you should be having. Okay, what are the blocks for, and how do you basically make? So first of all, you need to have a ready introduction. So like probably a data point. If you want to make one pager, somebody asked that in the comments. So if you want to make a one pager, you should have a quote, you should have a data point, and you should have, like, like a ready introduction, at least one or two lines, which we have in the X factor notes. Then there has to be a factual spine. For example, types, provisions, what are the features, some kind of factual details there. Like, then analysis. What This is where the mark separate is, in the sense that this is where the analytical part comes, that what are the issues, what are the challenges, how this is significant. Then evidence. Evidence, what does evidence means? For example, for polity, you are expected to write ARC. For a particular topic, when you're writing or making one pager note, if you don't have X factors, try to Google ARC, what the ARC has said about a particular topic. What is a particular judgment? What is a particular scheme? What is an index? All right, what is a particular report? That you need to have. Take a screenshot of this. This is a 5 block that your one pager note should have. So you will read a particular material. All right. Once you've read a particular material, you will do two things. You will again analyze the micro theme, right? You will understand the dimensions, because until unless you do not understand the dimension, you will not be able to make a one pager. Because when you read a standard material, you would sometimes not understand that whether this dimension is important or not. That is why micro themes are important, because micro themes will help you with that. That's why, like, we, as mentors, this is what we do when we sit after the post-test discussion. We tell the students that this is your fault, because your one-pager note is not having that dimension that is, like, that is expected from the question. Okay, and you need to have a ready conclusion. And I hope everybody's taken a screenshot of this. This is quite relevant. And your microtheme-based one-pager should look like something like this. All right, this is a topper. This is Sri Lakshmi's note. So this is how she has created her one pages. All right, it's a complete ready introduction. Like I said, ready introduction is there. There has to be good data point, then multiple forms, then analytical part. See, if you have a micro theme, a question has been asked. If you have micro theme document, and if you see that side by side, because you download prelims and mains micro theme both. So once you start, if you see a prelims topic, if you want to start with prelims, just see exactly the same time what is the overlap. Or what I would do, just upload those micro theme documents in Claude or something, and then ask the overlap. It will actually give you an entire list, because a lot of times the overlap list is kind of, it keeps on changing sometimes. But there are 177 themes out of, there are 177 themes that are actually overlapping, that will overlap. So that is why for local bodies, local self-government, is it not important for prelims? It is. But the kind of questions that you prepare and study, that should come from probably flash notes. Or the only notes probably that you will have to make here is related to the analytical part, that you would not find in any standard book. That can be, that you can get from X factors. These are the X factor notes. When I say that local self-government, because I'm taking this example, why I'm taking this is because the kind of dimensions that you need. So this is the data. Okay, this is the data that we have given for a particular topic, that is Panchayati Raj institution. So this is a data pick. When you are picking up, just maybe pick one or two. Okay, make one-pager notes from this. If you don't want to make one-pager notes, just in the document itself, you can highlight. All right, women leaders. Why I'm saying why I picked this up? Because women X theme, women as a part, all it's not important anymore. Women X this, women X representation in this, women X representation in that is become very important. Okay, see, major issues. So here you can see I mentioned that before. Second ARC is mentioned here. That is why it's very important. Why? Because you need to have spine when you're making an argument. So there is a framework that's called dimension, argument, and evidence. So second ARC is the evidence, dimension is the issues, and the argument is that. See, if you do not write keywords like this, no, I'm telling you, and I have to be very brutal about it, whether you're a beginner, if you've written mains, if you've not written mains, if you've written a single answer, if you've not even seen a topper copy, I'm telling you, if not writing keywords like this, for example, limited own source revenue, okay, role ambiguity, conditionalities under CSS, okay, dual control, the sarpanchpati culture. If you're not using keywords like this, you not get marks. You will just get generic marks, and generic marks is not going to lead you anywhere. You'll be writing prelims again. This is also X factor connect. This is related to separation of powers. Separation of powers is a separate theme in the GS2 paper and has to be done in a very detailed manner. When you will download the X factors, open these chapters and see for yourself how important this is. We have also created essay micro themes. Okay, we follow thesis, antithesis, and synthesis framework. We've created it after a lot of deliberation and cross-checking with the questions. And we've also created content for it. You have X factors now for essays as well. I mean, this and brilliant. You will go through it and you will feel like, oh my God. So as a part of current affairs, now this is like last I mentioned that I feel apart before we actually club everything. So you have Samachar Manthan. So as a part of UAP, what we do is that you have two classes, and those videos are also uploaded for free. You can follow it on the in the YouTube, but documents are only for the UAP program. But Samachar Manthan videos you can follow, and I feel that you can actually go for it. Why reason is that PIB will give you a government version, and these days I'm telling you, Hindu was a leftist. There are like a Hindu probably would give a particular view. Indian Express would give a particular view. Times of India would give a particular view, and they will focus. There is always a halo effect about a particular topic, and that's not how things always work. So PIB will give you a government version. Papers and newspaper analysis will give you a halo effect version. But what we have to do, you need a criticality of the issue and you don't need a balance, because let's say this is an over repeated but less emphasized fact that you need to have a complete critical understanding and balanced opinion. So Samachar Manthan, what it does is that, you have entire week's news, and that is like summarized in a way that it becomes important for prelims and mains and connected with micro themes. And then you have tests for that. So prelims, for example, you're writing 5 questions every week for the prelims, for the mains examination, 20 to 25 questions for the prelims examination. So the side by side, what you're preparing those micro themes that are general, you're preparing current affairs as well, in a way that you're just not reading current affairs. The compilation is not going to do it until unless you're not going to put that thing in paper, ask that question, and understand what kind of question is going to come from the Samachar Manthan or current affairs. For example, that fusion reactor question for the mains examination, that is directly derived from current affairs. So for those kind of questions, to make sure that you close the circle properly, you have to do current affairs in that manner, in analytical manner, and connecting it to the micro themes. You also have burning issues. They're released in our website. This is how burning issues looks like. This is a complete analysis. So I'm assuming, let's say you're making one pager notes, okay? So let's say this is burning issues. Now, what will happen sometimes that you will find lack of content or probably not well analyzed. If you do X factors, I'm telling you there is going to be an addiction and you will not like other material because the analysis is so precise that is needed for an answer. So for that, you can go for burning issues if you want to add value to your static portions. For example, custodial torture is a topic here. You may get a question from custodial torture. It has been in the news in the past, but what will happen that you would not find it in a standard material, probably. And what is the basic thing? It is not a micro theme. Custodial torture is not a micro theme. It could probably become a dimension in a particular theme, but is it a micro theme? Has those many questions been asked? No. For that, you have to rely on burning issues. What it does is that it helps you create or analyze current affairs in a manner that gives you let's say 360 degree coverage related to prelims and mains examination when it comes to. Now let's say this is burning issues. This is also downloadable. Now answer structure. See, I can give you a lot of strategies probably, right? A lot of people will give you a lot of strategies and everything, but until unless this is Archit Dongre's copy, by the way, okay? So until unless you do not write question answers like this, okay, until unless you do not come out of the inertia, until unless if you want to feel motivated, you will have to feel motivated like this. And I'm telling you X factors, this is all X factor notes, okay? So if you do not have to be worried about the fact that how am I going to create a content, all your mentor is going to do is that make sure that you write that answer first, and then we teach you how to basically come out of that inertia. That's the entire job of a mentor. If your mentor is telling you that okay, read Lakshmikant, that's not a good mentor. Nobody, that is not going to help you. Somebody who can bring to this level, this is the answer, this is a test, then only you will be able, then you should be satisfied, okay? And writing and taking action is very important here. I don't care whether you write good answers, I want you to write. And if you're doing this, all right, if you, how do you actually judge? And honestly, please ask this question to yourself. How do you even know what is the evidence of whether your preparation is going or well or not? Your score should increase for prelims and mains examination. You will avoid silly mistakes. For example, you will not ignore the hidden elimination strategies that's there if you're practicing well, and you will manage your time well, because your decision paralysis has been taken away by these plans. We're actually reducing. Our aim is to basically please clear this exam in shortest way possible. That is it. That's the most important part. That is what we want to do, nothing else. Okay, these are the 5 gaps. These are all 5 gaps that you will not be able to understand until unless you're not writing test. Why I'm saying write ugly answers, write everything, or like, why mentorship is important is because this. And this is the kind of insight that you have had time and again with students time and again. You will have conceptual gap. How do you know that you have a conceptual gap? By giving test and by showing your notes to your mentor. Micro theme gap. How? You will cover something, but you've not covered it to the depth. For example, I showed you federalism, I showed you local self-government. Similarly, let's say nuclear energy, right? Renewable energy. You're not covering the dimensions from the current affair point of view. You're not doing it, the analysis from the Samachar Manthan point of view. Application gap. Application gap means that, you're reading a question, you're writing whatever you know. You're not understanding the dimensions or the demand of the question. Okay, you're not giving that proper evidence. You're not, you're doing the fatal 5 mistakes of answer writing where you're probably just skipping way forward. You're not writing conclusions also. Prelim sense gap is somewhere that you try to become MCQ masters, but you do not try to focus on the micro themes that are going to come. You're not focusing on avoiding the elimination trap. Either you attempting too less, either you're attempting way too much, you're not analyzing your test preparation. And obviously, if you're trying to chase something, some skill that is going to develop after a week, if you're trying to chase that skill right now, it's not going to work. I want you to take action, but I don't expect you to, like, day one, you just read a topic. Just read a topic, and maybe for their example, just go through like a probably just go through an X factor for that and just write an answer. Just write an answer. There are multiple videos of topper copies, and there are topper copies also available in our platform. See those answers and just try to first of all replicate that. There are multiple videos as well where you will find how that we've taught you. And as a part of UAP, so definitely we teach you from the day one that how do you have to do it. All right. So this portion I'm telling you, once you do this, somebody who's done 50 plus Samachar Manthan tests, somebody who's given 40 plus prelims tests, 30 plus smash mains tests, 120 plus hours of one-on-one feedback sessions, all right, at least 95 sessions, preference for like sharp material, and definitely some good old luck reaches here. This is exactly the input that Animesh had given to reach here. And trust me, he was a working student, but it was just that all Credit goes to his hard work, but he had this system. He had understood that I have to come out of the decision paralysis. I have to come out of the inertia. Okay. So before the test, all this will work. I will do this theme, I will do that theme, I'm analyzing PYQ. But once you do the test, this is where the mentorship will have its more important role. And you have to ask your mentor this question. If you have a mentor, a teacher, or anyone, what does my year look like? What do I see? Like, everything after I'm doing, what is the kind of understanding that I should have? Can you tell me my year? Like, I've told you everything, my preparation, but like, if somebody is there to tell me how my year, my week is going to, I can study this much. And so what? After that, what happens? So this is very important that you have to focus on. Am I measurably better? I wrote a test last week for the economy, and I've written a test for this week geography. Both are very different subjects. So how do I analyze? Right? How do you understand that? How am I going to? What is going to be better for me? And where exactly did I go wrong? My 50 pages answer, my 50 pages answer book. Who is telling me that? What do I have to change? Does self-analysis actually work? I mean, to a great extent, probably it will, but not all the time, right? So you have to come back to an ideation that this is not going to work always. Prelims comes mains confusion, preparation is confusion, but if you start doing this micro themes overlap thing that I'm telling you, you will initial level you'll find that it could be a bit difficult, but because you have X factors, the note making conundrum will reduce, and once you start writing these tests, it will come to you. But all, like, you are not going to be perfect. Perfection is a myth. Perfection is definitely a myth, but the progress is something that you will see, and you should do it. So how do we do? This is the last leg before I take up all your questions. So how do we do? What is our approach? And I would say that if your approach or your mentorship is not going like this, then there is a problem. First phase, there has to be some kind of strategy session. So we basically, what we do, we try to find out where you're going wrong. All right, where you are in your preparation level, and from that basis, we start making plans for you. Give you micro themes. We teach you how to make one-pager notes, right? And this is a mental dashboard. Everything is given in detail. Do you see the stats that are here? This is the stats. A student stat is so defined that probably in a week I would know, in 2 weeks and 3 weeks I would know that whether your progress has increased 2%, 5%, 10%, what is the scope. If somebody is tracking you, this is how they should look like. All right, this is a track. So there has to be a change. This is Sanjay from the first test, first, third, second, third, and fourth, how he has evolved. All right, for PTD mains. So this is why it is important that there has to be your mentor. That my third question, that you should be able to track, your mentor should be able to tell you whether you are even improving or not. Okay. And this is Saloni Vats. She is a ranker and she was with us. And obviously, her writing style was benchmark for many. Okay. And they've referred to her copy for pure learning. Has been a repeated student. But here also, there was always a scope of improvement. We've worked with her, we've helped her out. And trust me, mentorship is like a really busy department. How it begins, just fill the mentorship form. Mentorship form is just not like this. Mentorship form will actually give you these questions where you are. You have to first, the questions that you have to answer, you have to be so honest with yourself that you have to shed that inertia, that shed that, fog from yourself, come out of the delulu or whatever, and answer these questions. This is the kind of honesty that we expect, and that is the dedication that we give you to understand where you're coming from. And from there, we'll take you to where you need to be, where Animesh had to, like, he was there with those many tests, with those many questions. Okay. And I don't ever feel that anybody who's preparing for UPSC lacks hard work. All you need is like a kind of a system that works for you. Now, this is the end.